what's going on, VC? Raul here, back at it with another video, and this video is going to be an update for the month of February. Now, February for me was a pretty long month. Felt like it took a pretty long time. Long story short, and actually funny thing, February is also the shortest month in the year, so go figure, right? 28 days. Yeah, long story short, my mom tested positive for COVID early in the month. And as a result, none of us were able to go to work because we had all come in contact with someone who had it. So we had to quarantine for 2 weeks. I mean, I was off work for 3 weeks. And it might seem like a cool thing, not having to go to work for a bit. And it does have its advantages and disadvantages. I had more time to just catch up on reading, working out, playing guitar, things like that. But after a while, you also get to a point where you're like, all right, what do I do with my day? Because it's not like you can go out with your friends, hang out and everything, because you had to tell them, my mom has COVID, so I obviously can't hang out with you guys. So yeah, mostly just stuck here in the house, but like I said, I've been listening to a whole lot of music. All in all, I probably got about 20 albums I've bought in the past, since like late December, which that's quite a few albums actually. Right now I'm only going to show 10 albums, 2 cassettes, 6 CDs, 2 LPs. So yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get started. First album I'm going to show you guys here is a cassette, and this is a super underrated thrash metal album, super underrated thrash band. Recently got into this band, and that's Onslaught with The Force from 1986. Now, how I found out about Onslaught, Brendan Von Doom won the contest I held for my channel last year in the summer. I asked him, what albums would you like, and he told me he was looking for Onslaught's newest album, and I had never heard of Onslaught before. Looked them up. They were a thrash band back in the 80s, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to give them a listen, and this was the album I listened to by them on YouTube, and I was really into it, hooked on it. I wouldn't say I was hooked, actually. Yeah, that's the wrong word. I was just really into it, and got this cassette earlier last month. Yeah, I'd say about last month on the Original Combat label right there. Pretty sure this is an OG press right here. Got it for a pretty decent price. That's the thing about a whole lot of the cassettes I've been buying lately. I have been buying a lot of cassettes lately, mostly due to the fact that I've been finding them for really decent prices. And this one was there too. And even though you find them for decent prices, a decent price here, a decent price there, and a decent price there, they all add up after a while, right? And that's also another big reason why I just stocked up on albums last month, just because I've just kept on finding good deals. And I told myself, well, when else am I going to find good deals like this, Better snatch them up right now while I can. Yeah, killer album, super raw stuff right here. Love the singer's voice. It's got that really gritty, rough voice. He also goes for like high-pitched screams as well. He pulls it off real well. And honestly, I love the production. Like I said, it's really raw. And, everything's still, hearable. Like, you could still hear everything that's going on. But it sounds almost like they barely even touched it, which is what I really like in thrash metal. It sounds almost like they had just recorded it in one go with the whole band and said, all right, there you go. Awesome stuff. Definitely looking forward to getting more stuff by Onslaught. Check this album out if you're into thrash metal. Super underrated band. Next album I'm going to show you guys here is another cassette, Thrash Metal Legends. They got another album coming out later this year. Not sure when, but I'm definitely going to pick it up when it does come out. And that is 1987's Taking Over by Overkill, thrash metal giants. A lot of people cite this album as their favorite Overkill album. I have met a lot of people, actually, who have said that this is their favorite one. Me, personally, I don't know. I haven't really ever decided which one's my favorite Overkill album. I'm definitely going to have to give them all proper listen-tos before, I can really make up my mind about them. Or at least just their classic albums. This was their second album. Really dug it. Overkill's one of those bands that I like, I've always liked, but I was never ever like a crazy huge fan of them, you know, compared to like Creator or Megadeth. Overkill just wasn't there for me. But still though, really good band, really good album, some awesome songs here. Deny the Cross is an awesome opener. Wrecking Crew, Fatal If Swallowed. In Union We Stand was kind of the one song I wasn't too crazy about. A little bit of a slower song. But really good album. Super thrashy. Nice white cassette. I'm definitely going to have to listen to this a whole lot more. I've probably only listened to it about maybe 3-4 times since I've bought it. Definitely going to have to check it out a lot more before I can like really make up my mind about it. But pretty good stuff from what I heard. Alright, next album I'm going to show you guys here is a album from a very well-known symphonic metal band, and that is 1997's Angels Fall First by Nightwish. Now, Nightwish, I've known about Nightwish for several years. This is the first album I buy by Nightwish, but prior to this, I only knew like a handful of their songs. You know, one day I was just cleaning the house and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna check out Nightwish since I was getting really into like power metal. Still am, but yeah. I told myself I'm gonna check out Nightwish because I knew a handful of songs by them and I knew they'd be right up my alley, so I decided I'm gonna check out their first album. And as soon as I heard the first song, Elven Path, that song just blew me away, man. If you're going to hear one song on this album, check out the song Elven Path. Like I said, if you're trying to get into symphonic metal, I don't think there's any better place to start than Nightwish. The band members kind of cite this album as their worst album in their discography. I wouldn't know. I've only listened to 2 albums by them. I am going to get their second album, Oceanborn, sometime soon. That album, I think, is much, much better than this one. But this one was still good, though. Really good stuff. The keyboards player, Thomas, he sings in this album as well. After that, he kind of just stopped singing. Apparently, people didn't like his singing voice. I didn't hate it. It sounds almost like good for like alternative rock, not really for like metal, but I didn't mind his voice. And obviously Tarja, not sure how you pronounce her name, Tarja Turunen. These guys are from Finland, so yeah, they all have very foreign names to me. Tarja Turunen, she has this amazing operatic vocals, almost angelic, I think. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting more stuff by Nightwish. Next album I'm going to show you guys here is a black metal album, and that's Heaven in Flames by Judas Iscariot from 1999. Now, Judas Iscariot is a band I wouldn't say I'm new to them exactly, because I've been listening to them probably for about 6 months now, a year at most. And I decided to pull the trigger on this album, saw it for a decent price. And this has a very good, it's obviously super raw. It is black metal after all. The vocals are amazing, but I really, really like the vibe. It has like a very melancholy vibe. And I think just black metal in general, it suits black metal, I think, having a melancholy vibe to it. Some very fast songs here and there. Definitely not exactly, say, like Dark Throne or Immortal black metal. It's very atmospheric stuff. I'm definitely not an authority on black metal, so I can't, give you the best description about this. But really solid stuff. If you're trying to get into black metal, Judas Iscariot might actually be, I would probably recommend you Judas Iscariot before I recommend you Immortal or something like that. Really good stuff. Looking forward to getting more stuff by Judas Iscariot. Next album I'm going to show you guys here is a release from this year by a relatively new band. Well, they are a new band, but they've been around over 10 years. Part of the new wave of traditional heavy metal. And that's Crystal Viper with The Cult. Came in this nice little cardboard sleeve. Nice that the band and the record label went that extra mile. especially with a newer band like Crystal Viper. Now, prior to this one, I only had their album from 2017, Queen of the Witches. When I first heard Queen of the Witches, I wasn't really that impressed. I kind of just had that album sitting in my CD shelf for probably about 3 years without being listened to. When I found out they were releasing this new album, I decided to check out Queen of the Witches again, and I fell in love with that album. Every song on it was good, I thought. And I told myself I'm definitely going to pull the trigger on this one right here. I had heard one of their songs on the channel New Wave of Traditional Heavy Metal. And yeah, it was really good. Decided to pick it up. And honestly, you get a very Iron Maiden feel to this. Almost like a speed metal vibe to it as well. More bordering on thrash even. I'd say it's more thrash than it is speed metal. Like I said, they're kind of categorized more as traditional heavy metal, but you definitely get thrash in here as well, which, is awesome, because who doesn't like thrash, right? Really good stuff. I mean, it's still too early to say which albums are going to be a contender for Album of the Year, but, this album was a really solid album. Definitely looking forward to getting more stuff by Crystal Viper. Can't wait till their next release. And with that package, though, I also got this nice poster, though. Not a huge poster, but, for a new band, it's nice to see that the label is supporting them, promoting them like this. Really good stuff, guys. Check this out. Female-fronted, traditional heavy metal band, bordering on the speed and thrash metal side of things. Check them out, guys. Crystal Viper. Can't go wrong with them, man. Alright, next album I'm going to show you guys here is arguably the heaviest album in my collection, and that's 1991's Effigy of the Forgotten by Suffocation, old school death metal essential right here. Now, I think this might even be called brutal death metal. I don't know all my terms that well, but really, really good stuff right here. Super low guitar tuning, super low, really, really low guttural vocals. It's almost, I like the album, but I would say it's almost like on the too heavy, even for me, side of things. Not saying that I hate it, more so that after like a certain amount of songs, it kind of just all starts sounding alike to me, and that was the issue with Altars of Madness. When I first heard it, I was like, I don't hate it, but like all the songs kind of just sound alike. But, hopefully after a few years, though, I might be able to like really, really fully appreciate this album. Nice shot of the band right there. Like I said, it's definitely the heaviest album in my collection. Liege of Inverosity. If you're going to check out one song, check out that song. It's the opener. It has that iconic slam riff right there. Really good stuff. Definitely going to have to listen to this a whole lot more, though. Maybe I'll get into it later in the year, next year. And like I said, I do like the album, but it's just not anything I'm too crazy about at the moment. But I would say it's an old school death metal essential. Definitely pushed the boundaries as to what death metal could be, I guess. Next thing I'm going to show you guys here is something a little bit different. And that's Resolver by Veruca Salt from the year 2000. Now, Veruca Salt, if you guys haven't heard of Veruca Salt, they're a post-grunge alternative band from the 90s. And me being the metalhead I am, though, you guys might find it surprising that Veruca Salt's actually one of my all-time favorite bands right here. Now, this isn't one of my favorite albums by them. I only have 3 albums by them. Well, 4 including this one. Out of the 4 I have, this is probably my least favorite one that I have by them. And I think I need to get 2 more albums by them before I complete their discography. They don't have a huge discography, which, is cool, because collecting by them won't be that hard. Really good stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about this album. But Veruca Salt, love Veruca Salt, love grunge, post-grunge, all that stuff. This is one of my all-time favorite bands right here. Female-fronted grunge band. If you like bands like the Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Bush, check these guys out. You might really dig them, especially their first 2 albums. Check out Veruca Salt, guys. If you like that kind of stuff, you will not be disappointed. Alright, next thing I'm going to show you guys here is a power metal album. Power Metal Essential, I think. And that's 1997's Glory to the Brave by Hammerfall. Now, this is an album I found out about thanks to the VC, band and album that I found out thanks to the VC. I was watching Renee from Holspa Metal's channel a few months back. Yeah, this was months ago when I remember him showing this. He showed this album in one of his videos, and I figured, well, I had heard of Hammerfall, so why not go check them out? And boy, when I first heard this opening track, The Dragon Lies Bleeding, it blew me away, man. If you're going to check out one song on this album, make sure it's The Dragon Lies Bleeding. That song is going to blow you away. The title track, Hammerfall, really good song as well. It has a very Iron Maiden feel, especially on the guitar solos. The last song is a ballad, Glory to the Brave. Awesome ballad, awesome way to close the album. And, you know, the rest of the album kind of fell short for me. At first, it took a few listen-tos for me to, like, really appreciate this album. And, you know, there's not really any bad songs on the album. But my least favorite song on the album has to be I Believe. It's another ballad. And, you know, it's not the fact that it's a ballad that I don't like it that much. It's just, it's not a very good ballad. But for the most part, this is an awesome album. Really dig Hammerfall. Really appreciate what they were doing, though. This was 1997, you know. The late 90s was, like, super, like, a new metal. It was the new metal era, obviously. So you got to give props to these guys. These guys had the balls to just play straightforward, old-school heavy metal the way they wanted to. Really good stuff. Looking forward to getting a lot more stuff by Hammerfall. Alright, now we're getting on to the LPs right here. First LP I'm going to show you guys. Got to stand back a bit for this one. First LP I'm going to show you guys here is a new wave of British heavy metal essential right here. Wheels of Steel by Saxon. Not the first Saxon album I own. I do have Crusader on cassette, which I really want to get it on vinyl. It would look sick on vinyl. If you've seen the album cover for Crusader, you'd know it would just look beautiful on vinyl. Came on this nice black and gray vinyl. Really cool marble look to it. Normally I'm a fan of black records, but every once in a while it is nice to get a nice colored record. Nice picture of the band right there. Super dark, though. Lyrics and just extra posters from the time period, I suppose. Saxon is a band I've definitely been sleeping on. You know, I had heard the song Wheels of Steel prior to buying this album, but the second I put on the side one, Motorcycle Man, that song blew me away. That guitar riff, dun 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 dun. Yeah, sorry about that. But that guitar riff on Motorcycle Man, that might be my favorite song on the album, Motorcycle Man. 747 has a very, that's another song on it. 747, Strangers in the Night, has a very, it kind of has like a clean part, like kind of a moody little like part. If you've heard the song, you know what I'm talking about. It has this softer sound to it that just sounds really good. My 2 least favorite songs on the album, though, are the first 2 songs on side 2, Freeway Mad and See the Light Shining. Not horrible songs, but compared to the rest of the album, not really it, honestly. And then it ends with the killer track, Machine Gun. Like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to getting a whole lot more stuff by Saxon. And after listening to this album a few times, I've probably spun it about 4 or 5 times since buying it. I'm really surprised that Saxon didn't get as big as Judas Priest or Motorhead. Maybe not as big as Iron Maiden. Honestly, you can debate with me on this right here, but I think Iron Maiden was just like the... I don't think any other bands from that era of the new wave of British heavy metal even touch Iron Maiden. I think Iron Maiden is just miles above every other band from that era. But, yeah, like I said, Saxon, it's a damn shame they didn't get any bigger than they did. Really good stuff. Looking forward to getting a whole lot more stuff by Saxon. Alright, and for the last thing I'm going to show you guys here is another LP, and that's The Last Command by Wasp. Wasp is a band I really like. I don't listen to a whole lot of hair metal anymore, but this is one of the bands I still really dig. I got this, ordered this on eBay, came from the Netherlands, and I ordered another album that came from Germany, and I noticed about European LPs that they seem a bit more bendy, you know? Maybe I'm just tripping, I don't know, but compared to the US copies, they do seem a bit more bendy. And at first I thought, is it a bootleg? But, you know, after, like, just inspecting it a bit more, I realized, yeah, no, I don't think it's a bootleg. It must just be a European thing. Just on standard black vinyl right here. And, nice little, like, can't take it out. And nice little, like, artwork right there of the band, headless. Wasp, apart from this album, I only own their debut album. I think I like their debut a bit more than this one. This one, the two weakest tracks on this album for me are Ball Crusher and Fistful of Diamonds. All the other songs are pretty good. Wild Child was the first song I ever heard by Wasp. Blind in Texas, that song's a fucking classic. The Last Command, a really good song. Ends with the song Sex Drive. Running Wild in the Streets is awesome. Widowmaker's good too. Cries in the Night is a bit of a softer song. Really good album though. Like I said, I like their debut album a bit more, but this one was still a solid follow-up album. Definitely looking forward to getting a whole lot more stuff by Wasp. Really good stuff, guys. If you haven't heard this album, do go check it out. And that was it for this video. Like I said, a bit more than what I normally show, and I only showed about half of the stuff I've bought recently, you know, just to not make this video 40 minutes, right? But yeah, that's it for this one, and thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.